Welcome, everyone. Today, I will tell you something very encouraging, but yet untold. What I am about to share is not complicated, not loud, and not dramatic, yet it carries a quiet power capable of changing how you experience every single day of your life. It is a truth we often overlook because it does not shout for attention. It waits patiently, like the morning itself, asking only that you slow down enough to hear it. Every morning arrives quietly, carrying something fragile and rare, a clean beginning. It does not announce itself with noise or demand recognition. It simply shows up. Before the world makes its demands, before your phone lights up with notifications, messages, and expectations, and before responsibilities begin pulling at your attention, there exists a brief moment where nothing has been ruined yet. In that moment, the day has not failed you. You have not failed the day. Everything is still possible. Yet for many of us, that moment passes almost unnoticed. We wake up, and before our feet even touch the floor, our minds travel backward. The very first thing we do is drag yesterday into today. Old conversations replay themselves. Words we wish we had spoken echo again. Regrets quietly rise. Mistakes step back into the room as if they were never asked to leave. Without realizing it, a brand new day becomes poisoned by a past that no longer exists. Yesterday is gone. It cannot be fixed, rewritten, or negotiated with. It does not respond to guilt. It does not soften under shame. It does not change no matter how many times you replay it in your mind. And still, we wake up carrying it like a weight we refuse to set down. We carry it into the shower, into our meals, into our conversations, and into our silence. We relive what we should have said, what we should not have done, and how everything might have turned out differently if only we had known then what we know now. At first, this habit feels harmless. It even feels responsible. We tell ourselves that thinking about the past is a form of learning, a way to make sure we never repeat the same mistakes. But most of the time, that is not what is happening. It is not learning. It is punishment. It is self-sabotage disguised as reflection. There's a massive difference between learning from yesterday and living inside it. Learning is calm. It is brief. It is useful. Learning asks one clear question: what can I take forward that helps me do better now? Living inside yesterday, however, is emotional, repetitive, and draining. It circles the same moments again and again without resolution. It traps you in a mental loop where nothing changes except your energy, which slowly fades with every repetition. When you allow yesterday to dominate today, you are not honoring the past. You are sacrificing the present. A new day does not ask you to be perfect. It does not demand that you have everything figured out. It does not expect you to feel confident, healed, or fearless. It only asks for one thing: presence. But presence is impossible when your mind is somewhere else, replaying old scenes, rehearsing old pain, or carrying old shame. You cannot move forward while staring backward. Think about how unfair that is to yourself. The version of you who woke up today did not make yesterday's mistakes. The mind you have this morning is not the same mind that struggled before. Experience has shaped it. Time has softened it. Awareness has expanded it. And yet, you often judge today's self by yesterday's limitations. When you punish today for what happened before, you deny yourself growth. You deny yourself momentum. You deny yourself peace. Yesterday might have been heavy, painful, or disappointing, but it is finished. The danger is not what happened then. The real danger is allowing it to define your mood, your confidence, and your decisions now. That is how people remain stuck for years over moments that lasted only minutes. Many people believe that holding on keeps them accountable. They think that if they let go, they are excusing their mistakes. They fear that releasing the past means pretending it never happened. But letting go is not denial. It is release. It is the decision to acknowledge what happened without allowing it to control what happens next. That is not weakness. That is maturity. Accountability does not require suffering. Growth does not demand self-hatred. Responsibility does not mean carrying guilt forever. True responsibility simply says, I understand what went wrong, and I choose to respond differently now. That is all. Anything beyond that is unnecessary weight. Yesterday has already taken its share of your life. It has already consumed time, emotion, and energy. It does not need your attention anymore. What needs your attention is the opportunity standing directly in front of you. A new day carries new chances, but only if you allow yourself to see them. When you wake up and reopen old wounds, you bleed into moments that could have healed you. There is a quiet tragedy in how often we sabotage our own healing. We sit in new moments with old pain. We enter fresh opportunities with outdated fears. We approach new people through the lens of past betrayals. Without realizing it, we ask the present to pay for crimes it never committed. Remember this clearly. Responsibility says, I will do better now. Regret says, I will suffer endlessly for what I cannot change. One leads to movement. The other leads to paralysis. One builds your future. The other chains you to your past. You were never meant to relive your worst moments every single morning. You were meant to respond to what is in front of you. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is a daily decision. Sometimes it happens through a deep breath. Sometimes it happens by choosing not to follow a thought that leads nowhere but pain. Sometimes it means interrupting your own inner dialogue and saying, this is not helping me anymore. You do not need closure to move forward. You do not need explanations. You do not need apologies that may never come. Waiting for those things often keeps people stuck far longer than the original hurt itself. Sometimes peace arrives not because everything makes sense, but because you decide to stop digging and start walking. The sun rises whether you are ready or not. Time continues whether you approve or resist. Life moves forward regardless of your internal arguments with the past. The question is not whether tomorrow will arrive. The question is whether you will arrive with it. Will you rise with the day or remain trapped in what no longer exists? Will you treat today as a continuation of yesterday's pain or as a separate chapter entirely? Old chapters may explain how you got here, but they were never meant to control what happens next. Stop letting old pages command new sentences. Stop allowing memories to make decisions for moments they do not belong to. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can decide what today becomes. That decision is always available, no matter how many times you have fallen before. Presence is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It is simply the willingness to be where you are without dragging everything else with you. It is choosing to meet the moment as it is, not as you fear it might be. When you are present, even small actions regain meaning. Even ordinary moments regain power. A cup of coffee becomes grounding. A walk becomes clarity. A quiet breath becomes stability. When you are no longer fighting yesterday, your energy returns, your focus sharpens, your confidence rebuilds, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you are no longer exhausting yourself fighting battles that already ended. You deserve that peace, not because you are perfect, but because you are human. Humans learn through error. They grow through discomfort. They evolve through reflection, not punishment. The goal was never to avoid mistakes entirely. The goal was to become wiser through them. Every person you admire has a past they had to release. Every strong individual you respect had moments they had to stop replaying. Growth does not come from flawless living. It comes from conscious choosing. Choosing to move forward even when the past still whispers. And it will whisper, some days louder than others. Healing does not erase memory. It simply changes your relationship with it. The memory may still exist, but it no longer commands your emotions. It becomes information, not identity. You are not your worst moment. You are not your lowest decision. You are not the version of yourself that existed before awareness arrived. You are the one who woke up today with the ability to choose differently. That is where your power lives. Each morning offers that power again, not as pressure, but as possibility, not as demand, but as invitation. You do not have to fix your entire life today. You do not have to become a new person by sunset. You only have to show up without dragging yesterday behind you. Even one present decision changes the direction of a day. Even one moment of awareness interrupts old patterns. Even one breath taken consciously creates space between who you were and who you are becoming. That space is where transformation happens, not in dramatic breakthroughs, but in quiet consistency, in choosing again and again not to return to what no longer serves you. There will be days when the weight feels heavier. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. On those days, gentleness matters more than discipline. Compassion matters more than criticism. You are not behind. You are learning how to carry less. With time, what once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once dominated your thoughts begins to loosen its grip. Not because the past changed, but because you did. This is what growth actually looks like. Not perfection, not constant positivity, but the gradual reduction of suffering you no longer need. Yesterday taught what it could. It has nothing left to offer. Today, however, still holds possibility. It still holds movement. It still holds choice. The present moment is the only place where life responds to you. The past cannot hear you. The future cannot answer yet. But now listens. When you meet now with awareness, something shifts. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop surviving and start participating. You stop running and start arriving. Arriving does not mean everything is resolved. It means you are no longer absent from your own life. And that is powerful. So as this day continues, remember this. You are allowed to begin again without explanation. You are allowed to release what hurts without permission. You are allowed to move forward even if your hands still shake. The weight of yesterday does not define the strength of today. The past does not get to vote on who you become. That decision belongs to the version of you breathing right now. Let this day be lighter. Let your thoughts be fewer. Let your presence be enough. You do not owe yesterday another minute. You owe today your attention. Thank you for being here. If this message moved you, if it gave you even a small sense of clarity or relief, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who may need a reminder that a fresh start is always closer than it seems.